So you said you saw Fox News recently. You're not a huge Fox. Well, you lived out of the country for years.
Yeah.
I guess it's not.
I never really watched it for years. Yeah.
Yeah. But now you're back in the United States and you saw it. Can I just we just put together a montage, which I think is fair. By the way, Fox canned me over 2 years ago. I've never attacked Fox. I'm not mad at Fox. I've always liked Fox. I'm grateful to them. This is really the first time I've attacked them, but I think it really matters. I think this is a fair representation of what's on Fox's air right now. Okay, here it is.
The greater risk would be to do nothing. In the face of a clear and present danger, the world cannot experience another Holocaust.
If Iran gets a nuclear weapon, I think the odds are unacceptably high that we would find out with a mushroom cloud over New York City or Los Angeles or Tel Aviv and Israel. Israel is doing an enormous favor to the United States right now.
A nuclear Iran is not just an existential threat to Israel, it is an existential threat to America. Take these enemies, not just figuratively, not just seriously, but literally. When they say they want a second genocide, they want a nuclear Holocaust, they mean it.
If we need to provide bombs to Israel, provide bombs. If we need to fly planes with Israel, do joint operations. But here's the bigger question. Wouldn't the world be better off if the Ayatollahs went away and replaced by something better? Wouldn't Iran be better off?
America first is not sitting in a beach chair and using words. It's taking decisive action when we can take out Fordo, the one swoop of an airplane.
What the hell is it going to take to realize what we're up against here? This country should be united in its own defense. Nobody's dragging us into anything. It's not the Jews. It's not Israel again. No. Long-range, intercontinental, ballistic missiles with nuclear warheads are for you and me and your children and your grandchildren.
That's what's airing on Fox. By the way, that same person, Mark Levin, who was a totally minor player in Fox World up until recently, I can tell you firsthand, suggested today that we send nuclear weapons to Ukraine too. But I should just make it clear, in the last clip that we played, he said intercontinental ballistic missiles armed with nuclear warheads are meant for you. They're going to kill you, the mullahs. Iran doesn't have intercontinental ballistic missiles. It doesn't have nuclear warheads. Like, all of this it's deranged. And the point is to scare old people into obedience. And let me say one last thing, that everyone on that list, so we've got Hannity, Cruz, Barry Weiss, Lindsey Graham, Kayleigh McEnany, Mark Levin. Of those people, Hannity's, I think, a genuine friend of Trump's. I think Hannity really likes Trump. And I just want to say again, I really like Sean Hannity personally. Got no problem with Sean Hannity at all, personally. And he likes Trump. I don't know Kayleigh McEnany, what she thinks of Trump. But Ted Cruz, Barry Weiss, Lindsey Graham, and Mark Levin hate Donald Trump. They're all never Trumpers. Well, I mean, one of them, Ted Cruz, ran against him.
Right.
Right. These are people who hate Donald Trump. I'm not guessing. I know them all.
They're like Nikki Haley supporters.
100%.
Right.
Ron DeSantis. And they're all now saying how much they love Trump. Anyway, I'm going to just stand back and just let you assess what we just saw.
Well, one thing I noticed, I didn't see any dissenting voices at all. Again, goes right back to the 2002 playbook. I didn't see anybody saying, wait a second, challenging Mark Levin about intercontinental ballistic missiles. There was no questioning of that. There's
no one there to question it. There was a guy who would have questioned it, but they fired him a couple of years ago.
And now he's got a much bigger platform.
No, I didn't mean to sound self-pitying, but it is.
No, it is true. Like, is Hannity, I mean, I think Ted Cruz, I don't know whose show he was on during that, but is Hannity going to question? Like, I saw Mark Levin go on a tirade the other day on Hannity's show, and then Hannity basically jumped in and supported that tirade, praising Trump as maybe, that decades of presidents had the opportunity to attack and didn't do it. It took Donald Trump, God, basically, to attack and destroy Iran's nuclear facilities. But I didn't see any dissenting voices on this at all. And the idea of Barry Weiss saying that this is a threat to America. So that's what we keep hearing. This is a threat to America.
Barry Weiss will say whatever she needs to say. Barry Weiss's interest is not the United States at all. It's odd. I mean,
but factually, is it a threat to America? That's what I want to know. Like who and if it
you
is,
could certainly make it a threat to America.
Right. And that's the beauty of now we're hearing about now there's sleeper cells. So I spoke to a CIA agent, former CIA agent a couple of months ago, and he said, my biggest fear is that they will use, he said, this is the CIA plan. This is what we do. So we use a dumb Muslim. We'll get a dumb Muslim who's easily brainwashable, and we'll have them carry out an attack as a catalyst for us to go into war in Iran. And then, this guy's this guy's an Iranian? There you go.
Or a dumb Palestinian Christian like Sirhan. Just throwing that out
there. Exactly.
So, excuse me.
Right, exactly. So we will use a patsy, and that will be the catalyst. Do you see what they did in Wayne, Michigan? Did you see what they did? There was carrying out this attack. By the way, these accounts, as soon as we attacked the nuclear sites, almost immediately there were videos being surfaced and flooded on social media about like Islamists running towards subways in New York City.
This is so reckless and dangerous. It's so immoral.
But so profitable, Tucker.
We're sorry to say it, but this is not a very safe country. Walk through Oakland or Philadelphia. Yeah, good luck. So most people, when they think about this, want to carry a firearm, and a lot of us do. The problem is there can be massive consequences for that. Ask Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse got off in the end, but he was innocent from the first moment. It was obvious on video, and he was facing life in prison anyway. That's what the anti-gun movement will do. They'll throw you in prison for defending yourself with a firearm. And that's why a lot of Americans are turning to Byrna. It's a proudly American company. Byrna makes self-defense launchers that hundreds of law enforcement departments trust. They've sold over 600,000 pistols, mostly to private citizens who refuse to be empty-handed. These pistols, and I have one, fire rock-hard kinetic rounds or tear gas rounds and pepper projectiles, and they stop a threat from up to 60 feet away. There are no background checks. There are no waiting periods. Byrna can ship it directly to your door. You can't be arrested for defending yourself with a Byrna pistol. Visit Byrna, BYRNA.com, or your local Sportsman's Warehouse to get yours today. Byrna.com.
So much money they'll make off of this.
I mean, I think Mark Levin and Barry Weiss, whatever. I mean, these are people who just really don't care at all. Okay. But there are other people here, Lindsey Graham, who everyone hates Lindsey Graham, but I always say this and I mean it. Lindsey's an absolutely delightful person, hilarious, nice. Like he's not in person. He's not some kind of monster at all. Yeah. He's like a fun guy to have dinner with, which I have done. What's he thinking? Does part of him think, geez, a lot of people could die. When they die, do I feel bad about it?
It's an unpatriotic question, Tucker.
No, but this is so
That's an anti-Semitic
reckless.
Question. How can you
think he really thinks that?
I don't think I think he's so bought and paid for by the military-industrial complex, how much money he's made from the military-industrial complex.
Even if people are dying?
I don't think they care at all. They're in a bubble.
Man.
I don't think they care at all. And
so they don't think at some point they're going to have to answer for this?
Maybe in the afterlife they will. But because it always happens over there.
We don't live that long. Human lifespan's pretty short. I don't know. You're really rolling the dice with this kind of stuff. I mean, maybe there's no God and, it's fine. And the guy who dies richest wins. I guess maybe, but what if the Blaise Pascal formula is right? Why would you risk that?
He's only risking purgatory for a few thousand years. And then he'll, eventually get shunted off one way or the other. But it's incredibly profitable.
If somebody sent you $10 million to say that, Firestone tires are better than Bridgestone tires, assuming they're not the same company, which I think they may be, but whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd be like, okay, I'm for Firestone now, $10 million. But if someone sent you $10 million or $100 million or $10 billion to say something was untrue that you knew would get people killed, you want $10 billion, but you'd be like, I don't know. I can't. That's not a good idea. Kind of rolling with soul here.
But these people are soulless, and they're not going to ask these tough questions. They're not going to challenge this. As you and I talked about last night, I'm thinking of that Upton Sinclair quote where he said, it's hard
to convince a man of something he's paid not to see.
Yeah. It's, if you're on the salary, if he's being paid to not see it, exactly. If your whole salary relies on knowing something,
no, that's right.
Or not knowing something, it's difficult. So all these, different anchors on these different television, they want the prestige of being on TV and having people like put makeup on them and all of that. And they rely on that contract. They rely on that salary. And then if they don't have that, they go off and try to do things like what Don Lemon did or whatever. And if you're part of that machine, no one wants to watch your stuff,
That's right.
because, for 10 years, you were a liar. So now you're going to go off and do an independent show. And now we're going to watch you and trust you. Like you were lying for money for so many years,
No, it's right.
pushing a narrative. And now you're going to go off. We're not going to watch it. So I just find it so.
No, it's such a good point.
It's the same argument that they used in 2002, that it's an existential threat to the United States of America, that Saddam Hussein is going to use intercontinental ballistic missiles. He's going to gather a warhead with anthrax. He's going to shoot, he's going to shoot it into some mall somewhere. So that's the fear, right? They're playing on our fear that we are going to be attacked by Iran. And they don't have an intercontinental ballistic missile to hit us. Just don't let the facts get in the way. They actually don't have a nuclear warhead. They don't have the reentry mechanism to even make that happen. But we need to be fearful of it. Like, I don't wake up fearful of Iran in the morning. Maybe I'm dumb. Maybe I'm an idiot and I should. That should be the first thing that I do when I wake up in the morning. Not like the Tren de Aragua gang down the street. I should be more worried about Iran is going to attack me. And by the way, why would they attack us?
I know.
Like, why aren't they attacking Sweden right now?
No.
If they hate our freedoms, why aren't they attacking Norway right now? Why would they attack us? If we get the hell out of there, maybe we wouldn't have these problems. If we wouldn't build these bases in their backyard. If we wouldn't meddle in trying to decapitate their leadership and overthrow and install a pro-Western government and tell them to open McDonald's. But we can't. We seem like we're so addicted to doing it. And we thought under Trump that this would be a realignment. Like, we're not going to do this.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.